Alright, so we're just continuing our complex numbers and different operations we'll come across. So here we have a complex number, square root of 3 minus 2i, and it's squared. Alright, so it might be tempting just to bring the squared in to square everything, but because of this minus sign in the middle, we cannot do that. This one, we actually have to square it by writing it twice. Square root of 3 minus 2i times the square root of 3 minus 2i. So we're multiplying two complex numbers, but technically it's a binomial times a binomial, so we're going to FOIL this. Square root of 3 times square root of 3 is 3. Square root of 3 times a negative 2i. So it's going to be negative, and then we write the 2 first, then the square, oh no we don't, yeah we do. We write the 2i first, sorry, then the square root of 3. Alright, negative 2i times the square root of 3 is a negative 2i square root of 3. And then when we multiply negative 2i times negative 2i, negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4, I times I is I squared. Alright, so there's that I squared again. We know that that's negative 1 times 4, this becomes minus 4. And then we can go to combine our like terms. I combine the real numbers first, so 3 minus 4 is negative 1. And then negative 2i square root of 3 minus 2i square root of 3. You combine the negative 2i's and you get negative 4i, and then the square root of 3. Alright. So here we have two complex numbers multiplied again, 3 minus I times the square root of 2 and 3 plus I times the square root of 2. So these complex numbers are the same, just with different signs. So if you remember, these are what we call conjugates. And if you have to FOIL out conjugates, the outside and inside terms will cancel each other out every time, so we can do the shortcut. The shortcut is to multiply the first terms, 3 times 3 is 9, and multiply the last terms. It's a negative times a positive, so it will be minus. I times I is I squared, times square root of 2 times square root of 2 is 2. Alright, so let's simplify this portion over here. We have an I squared, which is a negative 1, times 2, which really is negative 2. But you see this minus sign right here? That actually is still there. So it's 9 minus a negative 2, which becomes plus. 9 plus 2, our final answer is 11. So you are going to have to be very careful with, those minus signs, and especially when you bring in that negative 1, the negative negative turns positive and we get 11.